Saw footage, and it was like an instant change for me. Have you seen the macerator for the chicks? Have you ever seen it? I got it here if you want to see it. Come have a look. Take a seat, mate. What's your name, bud?
Stuart.
Stuart. Nice to meet you. I'm Steve Stewart. Right, the screen isn't the best, mate, so we got a bit of sun, so feel free to angle it wherever you need. And chickens, all chickens, right, wherever you look at, whether you're looking at egg-laying hens, whether you're looking at meat, chickens for meat, they all come from hatcheries. In these hatcheries, they sex males and females, so as soon as the eggs hatch, they tip them upside down, they see if they're male or female. If they're like female, they'll go off to the left and they'll go to either free-range farms like this, because free-range doesn't mean that they're outside on the fields like grazing. Free-range just means that they're not in a cage. So they have around 15,000 hens in one big barn. They have the size of an A4 piece of paper plus a playing card to move around in. Or they go to be battery hens, where they'll just stack them up in cages and they'll never be able to sort of spread their wings, turn around or walk for their whole life. They keep them in 24 hours like artificial sunlight because it increases their egg laying.
Yeah.
Then as soon as their egg laying starts to drop, the first time that they'll see daylight or feel wind is on the way to the slaughterhouse. What they do with the hens, you'll see they step on them, they drag them out of these cages, and they put them in like these shackles upside down. They hang them by their feet, and they go through this electric bath, and then there's basically like a guillotine, like a blade that spins, and it just cuts their throats. Yeah. And here they're just sticking their knife in there once they've been electrocuted as well.
Wow.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I need to get the macerator up for you, mate, because they're the two there. I'm gonna find this macerator footage. I got any animal that you think that you consume at the moment. Let me know. We've got it on here. I can show you the footage. Big gas chambers. Let's get the whole roll here. This is it, mate. Here you go. Right, under there. Okay, so that's a conveyor belt. You know, like when you go to the supermarket?
Yeah.
And then it's got an open blender here. So for eggs, because they're males, they don't produce eggs. So as soon as they've sexed them as males, you see the shells are going down with them.
Yeah.
This is just an open blender, and they just mash them up. Just been born, minutes after being born. And that's standard farming practices, just open blenders for baby chickens. Just because they're male. This is where they sex them. And then the females will get, like I said earlier, the females get sent off one way or the males get sent off another way. Free range or caged hens.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's mad, right? Like, I was the same as you. Like, I didn't think like things like eggs or milk came with so much like horror, like exploitation and murder all attached to it. You think it's an innocent product. I thought cows just produce milk, and I thought that chickens just produce eggs. These chickens have been selectively bred to lay 300 eggs a year. They should naturally lay around 12 to sort of 15 eggs a year, but they've been modified to lay so many. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know what to say, but it's disgusting.
It's mad, right? It's mad. And this is why, like, the sign on the front here says, like, if you're not vegan, you pay for animal abuse. Like, I would define that as abuse. Would you define it as abuse?
Yeah.
They're gas pigs. You know, CO2 gas, like they used in Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Again, I can show you the footage there. They put them into what they call a stun crate. They put 3 or 4 in together because they call it humane, because they put groups of like family or friends of pigs in, and they drop them down into CO2 gas. It burns the pigs from the inside out. So like their eyes are like burning out. They're thrashing around. Pigs are like ripping, breaking limbs because they're trying to get out of the gas, and that's just to stun them. So they spend like a little bit of time coming around in that gas, and once they actually get rendered unconscious, they lift them up with one leg, they stab them in the throat, and they put them in what's called a scalding tank, because pigs' hair is quite coarse on their skin. So they put them into like 63 degrees or something like that, centigrade water, to get the hairs off the skin. So, and 6 months old. So a 6-month-old pig would be gassed, stabbed in the neck, and then put into boiling water for something as trivial as a bacon sandwich.
Well, I've stopped eating all that. I don't eat any of the meats. The only thing I am really eating, which is still rare, is the fish, and obviously eggs as well.
Okay.
Eggs, like a lot of the dairy products I don't really have anymore.
Okay. So we've gone through like the eggs. You've seen like what you're paying for when you buy eggs, and there's no way of avoiding it. Even if you looked at small holding farms or free range and organic and all this, they're just terms used for the consumer to feel better. So there's no good way of doing there's no good way of doing a bad thing. If you want to look at fishing, a really good analogy I heard the other day for fishing is, imagine if I had a fishing line here with a dog treat on the end. It would be the exact equivalent if I hooked a dog on the land here, I ran down that beach, I threw the dog under the water, held the dog under the water, and then clubbed the dog to death whilst it's under the water, or stabbed him to death whilst he's under the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're doing to fish.
Yeah.
We're dragging them out of the ocean, they're suffocating on the land, and we're blunt force traumaing them to death.
And you've got obviously the other things with the salmon farms, isn't it? They've all got these diseases all just like inside the sea. They trap them inside the sea, but like
in the big rings.
In the big rings. And
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they got these cancer. They all just like got all diseases all over them.
that's right. Yeah,
That's our salmon and all.
they're suffering. Like their existence is suffering, and then we put them in an abattoir and stab them to death, or club them over the head, chop them up into little pieces, and then we eat them, and we justify doing that because we like the taste, or we say it's more convenient, or social pressure might mean that if I go to my friend's house and they've cooked chicken, I just eat the chicken because I don't want to seem rude.
Yeah.
All of these excuses, they don't hold up against that injustice. Or do you think they hold up against that injustice?
No.
Do you know much about the dairy industry? I know you consume a small amount of dairy, but even any money, because they're supply and demand industries, any amount of money that pays into these industries will be funding them. So for us to have like dairy products like cheese, dairy milk, dairy yogurts, cows are mammals, right? So they have to be forcefully impregnated. So they put them in a rape rack, rape them. Once that cow has carried her baby for 9 months, like a woman would, their baby is born and removed from the mum like within hours, because that baby can't start drinking the milk, because that milk is intended for products and for humans. If it's a male, the likelihood of it being killed within the first couple of hours, at least the first day, is really, really highly likely. Or he'll be sent off and sold as like a male calf to go off for veal. If it's a female that's born, then she'll be separated from her mum and put into solitary confinement of up to 8 weeks by herself, just in like a little tiny plastic covering, chained by her neck and left there. And then as soon as she is sexually mature, they'll start to impregnate her because they can start making milk off the back of her. Dairy cows should live to around 27 years. What do you reckon the average slaughter age of a dairy cow is?
I don't know, 2 years.
5 years old.
5.
Again, any animal going through that abattoir is a baby, for eggs, for milk, for cheese, for chocolate, for animal flesh. Once she's carried 4 babies, lost 4 babies, have them taken from her, she gets hoiked up, bolt gunned, hoiked up, and then stabbed in the throat because we like milk or we like burgers.
Yeah.
It's mad, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
Would you say that you're against any of that stuff I'm describing? Would you say you're against any of it?
No, not at all.
So you
I'm
are against it.
I'm against
You worried
it.
me
I'm
for a
with you,
minute.
I'm with you.
You worried me for a minute. I was like, I've explained everything really graphically, and you're like, yeah, that's fine. So are you with me? Are you with me on
I'm
it?
with you on it. Yeah, I'm
Cool.
against it, yeah.
So looking at your life, what is the blocks in the way of you not paying for any of it? What's your blocks to stopping you saying, you know what, I'm not paying for this, I'm vegan?
Little. No, there's not really a lot. It's just my latest month because my fitness and stuff. I used to be filming. I was a plasterer. I was fit before. And I'm trying to get back into my fitness. And even then, so I need to like basically eat a lot with my. So I'm just wondering what it is. I have lentils and things like this.
So, right.
A lot of fruits, but yeah.
You've got 2 elements to this. There's a why vegan and then there's a how vegan. We should always focus on why vegan, because why vegan is we're against all of these systems that we just talked about. How vegan, how I get fitter, how I get stronger, how I get healthier. We'll always work that out. Because we're debating animal rights, I'll just quickly tell you that the science is on our side, and if you look at the Academy of Dietetics and Nutrition, it'll give you all the evidence that you need to show that a vegan whole food plant-based diet is healthiest for all stages of life, including infancy, babies, pregnancy, all of it. Nutritionfacts.org is a really good website, and I'll give you a links card in a minute to give you some resources so I won't leave you high and dry just because we're talking about animal rights. I'll give you some stuff where you can find the answers to them questions. But if we look at an injustice and we try and fight the injustice with a benefit of that injustice being stopped, we're not focusing on the victim. So that's an injustice in itself. An example would be, I'm going to stop trafficking humans because it's bad for the environment. or I'm going to stop punching people in the face because it hurts my hand. We have to be vegan because why vegan is we're against animal abuse. How vegan will always happen afterwards. What do you reckon? Do you agree? Have you got a different position on it?
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I do sacrifice a lot from not eating some of the meats and stuff right now, so I do it for those facts.
One of the biggest things I found going vegan was I don't even think about it anymore. Like, just wake up and just me. I'm just Steve. I don't think about it. Same as I don't think right, don't be racist today. Don't be racist today. Like, don't oppress anybody today. Just wake up and just be you. There's a vegan alternative for everything, and the most liberating thing is you no longer pay for animal abuse. Mate, I'm gonna give you one of these cards, man.
You're a good guy.
Thank you so much for talking to me, man. There's some good stuff on there. Check out Challenge 22. They're going to help you with the nutrition and the house side of vegan.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Mate, have a great day, man. See you soon. What's happening?
Shake a hand of a built guy.
Oh, what's
I'm a
happening?
vegan.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? When they say you've got to eat red meat to get muscles,
Mate, it's mad, right?
it's